Frank Sinatra. You hear the name, you hear the voice. For so many, he was the 20th century. But behind those famous blue eyes and all the awards, there was another guy entirely. One who knew exactly how power worked, and who lived by a code forged on the streets of Prohibition-era New Jersey. So today, we're going to look at the two sides of Frank Sinatra, the icon we all know, and the connected operator with some seriously deep ties to the underworld. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got the legend, right? The chairman of the board, the guy who got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got the legend, right? The chairman of the board, the guy who got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So first up, we have to go back to the beginning. We're talking Hoboken, New Jersey. And this place wasn't just his hometown. It was where he learned a powerful, unwritten set of rules that he would live by for the rest of his life. And you know who his first teacher was? His mother, Dolly. Now, she wasn't just anybody's mom. She was a political powerhouse in Hoboken, a real ward boss. She moved easily between politicians, bootleggers, you name it. And from her, a young Frank learned a lesson that would stick with him forever. Real power isn't always pretty, and it sure isn't always legal, but it gets the job done. And the world he grew up in ran on one core principle, omerta, the code of silence. And this isn't just some cliche from a gangster movie, okay? This was a real street-level way of life. You don't talk to cops, you don't talk to outsiders, you handle your business yourself. And loyalty is absolutely everything. This is a key point. Sinatra didn't learn this from the mob later on. He brought this code with him to the table. All right, so he's got this unwritten code from the streets of Hoboken. How in the world does that lead to one of the most legendary careers in entertainment history? Well, that brings us right to our second section, the business of friendship. You can literally trace the biggest moments of his career and see the hand of his powerful friends at work. We're talking about everything from getting out of a terrible contract to basically becoming the face of the mob's crown jewel in Las Vegas. None of this happened by accident. So get this, in 1942, Sinatra stuck in what was basically a slave contract with the famous bandleader Tommy Dorsey. He couldn't get out of it. So his godfather, his actual godfather, Genovese underboss Willie Moretti, pays Dorsey a little visit. He makes him let's call it a very persuasive offer. And just like that, Sinatra was free to become a solo superstar. This wasn't just a friendly favor, though. It was an investment. And that investment paid off. By the time he lands in Las Vegas, he's not just a singer they hired for the night. Nope. They gave him a 9% ownership stake in the Sands Hotel. Why? Because by now, his friendship was a massive business asset. He wasn't just the entertainment anymore, he was a partner. So let's break down how this whole setup actually worked. It was brilliant, in a way. Sinatra was the legitimate front. He was the classy, beloved star who brought in all the rich gamblers and made the place look respectable. His star power was like a magnet. This let the real, hidden owners skim tons of untaxed cash right off the top. And what did Frank get in return? A nice piece of the action and a personal playground where he was treated like a king. Okay, so we've got casinos, we've got Hollywood, but the story is about to get way, way bigger. Section 3, where power corrupts. Because now we're moving from the Vegas Strip straight to the White House and even the CIA. The 1960 presidential election is maybe one of the most controversial parts of this whole story. Sinatra acted as the go-between, the bridge connecting the Kennedys to the Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana. The story goes that Giancana helped deliver crucial Union votes that swung the election for JFK. But then what happens? As soon as they're in office, the new Attorney General, Robert Kennedy, declares all-out war on organized crime. And just like that, Sinatra gets cut loose. It was a pretty brutal lesson in just how fickle political loyalty can be. And just when you think this story can't get any weirder, it does. While one part of the U.S. government, the FBI, is trying to lock these guys up, another part, the CIA, is secretly putting them on the payroll. No joke. They recruited Sam Giancana and Johnny Roselli, two of Sinatra's closest mob associates, to try and assassinate Fidel Castro. You can't make this stuff up. And this, right here, is what made Frank Sinatra completely unique. He was the social glue, the guy standing right in the middle of this crazy Venn diagram connecting Hollywood royalty, the Kennedy White House, and the absolute top guys in the Mafia. His charm got him in the door everywhere, and his reputation meant everyone respected him. Nobody else in America occupied a space like that. Nobody. And that all brings us to our final act, the untouchable legacy. After walking all these tightropes, playing all these dangerous games, how did he manage to come out of it all not just safe, but as a revered American icon? For 50 years, think about that, 50. The FBI was absolutely obsessed with him. J. Edgar Hoover himself had them watching him, tracking his calls, his trips, his friends. They built a file on him that was over 2,000 pages long. They genuinely saw him as a threat, a kind of courier and mouthpiece for the mob. But listen, he wasn't totally invincible. He took some hits. Back in 1963, he lost his Nevada gaming license because he had Sam Giancana stay at his casino. It was a huge public slap on the wrist. But then, fast forward almost 20 years to 1981, he goes before the board again. Only this time, he's friends with President Reagan. He's an institution. And he won. He got his license back. It was this huge symbolic victory that basically cemented his status as an untouchable legend. And during that hearing, when they grilled him about all his mob buddies, he gave the perfect Sinatra answer. He just said, "I am a singer, I am not a policeman." It was the ultimate deflection, just a masterclass in handling the press. He was basically saying, hey, who my friends are is my business. And by that point, the world was totally ready to agree with him. And really, here's the bottom line. For all those years of surveillance, for all the suspicion, for that massive 2,000-page file, the FBI never found a smoking gun. They could never indict him. That code he learned back in Hoboken, Omerta, the code of silence, it held up. In the end, he really was untouchable. So that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Was he the ultimate American icon, a talent so huge that it just eclipsed everything else? Or was he the ultimate untouchable, a guy who played a very dangerous game by his own rules and won? The truth is, like the man himself, it's probably a little bit of both.